Thomas, so good to see you. Let's talk through 76 years of headlines, what market history teaches us about staying invested. From oil embargoes to global pandemics, the S&P 500 has endured decades of uncertainty and come out stronger over time. So let's break down the data and talk through whether pre and post retirees should make any changes to their portfolio. And I'd like to start with this chart. What stands out to you here about how the market responds to global events?
Well, if you notice it, it's on an incline, right? Even though
Right.
there are instances that happen, from the Depression all the way to COVID-19, you notice that we may have a downturn in the market, but ultimately it still goes up.
And so it's easy to see when you zoom out why staying the course and staying invested is often the best advice. But if I feel uneasy about how I'm invested, when is the right time to make changes to my portfolio?
Right. So definitely you want to consider your emotions. Obviously I'm a risk-based advisor, so definitely don't think about emotional investing. But when I meet with my clients, either semi-annually or annually, we revisit their risk profiles to see if they're in alignment with what their with how their portfolio is positioned. So if they're considering downturns and maybe they're looking at retirement pretty close here, then we may do some adjustments then.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because how does the answer change for someone who is nearing retirement or recently retired?
Right. So near retirement, obviously you want to think about, if you've accumulated for quite some time and you don't want to lose that. So you may want to think about, readjusting your risk profile as you go into retirement. Then obviously in retirement, you definitely don't want to lose, right? Because it can take a long time for that money to come back. So we're looking at possibly adjusting then as well.
Right. And that brings us to our next topic, which is retiring in a down market presents a very unique challenge known as sequence risk. It's kind of difficult to explain, but can you walk us through that risk, please?
Yeah, just, there's two different types of investors. One pulls money out when the market is up and one pulls money out when the market is down. Depending on how that looks, if there is an acceleration, or essentially if there's a downturn when you're pulling money out of the market, then you're going to have an acceleration in your portfolio downwards. It's just like if you pull 10% and the market's down 5%, then you're down 15%. Versus the investor who pulls money out when the market is up. Chances are they're going to have a better position later in life versus the investor who pulls money out when the market is down.
Of course, so we have no control over what the market's doing when we want to retire. So how do you guard against sequence risk?
Yeah, so there's a few different things. You'd obviously want to create a strategy to where you're positioning your assets to have a stream of income. Annuities are a good option for my clients. Obviously, putting your money in a safety net to where your bill money is not necessarily in the market and you can pay your bills on time. And then you obviously want some money that's in the growth option as well, so that you can match inflation as you grow. But I leverage annuities for my clients and also some dividend stock options as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, Thomas, we, of course, again, have no control over what the market's doing. We just have to have a plan for that volatility. So if somebody would like to sit down with you to create that plan, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, definitely. You can give me a call or go to my website, martinheritagegroupllc.com. You can give me a call, 651-503-6064. You can shoot me an email at info@martinheritagegroupllc.com. And then I'm on all social media platforms at Martin Heritage Group.
Great. Thomas, thank you.
Thank you.